My name is Rita Gildersleeve. I'm the team leader at Keller Realty, Hudson Valley North. And previous to stepping into the team leader role, I was the productivity coach in our Hudson Valley North office and our Hudson Valley United office. So I was the team leader in the Hudson Valley United office for about 2.5 years, and I helped launch the productivity coaching program in the Hudson Valley North office. And throughout 2.5 years of doing that coaching, I was able to build up a book of these sessions that I would do with the agents that I was coaching. And so now I am hi, John, good morning.
Hey.
So now I'm so excited that every Monday I'm going to be covering a different topic. And the idea is that these will be a very interactive session. So today's session is really meant to be interactive. So if you do not have a piece of paper in front of you, please get a notebook, because we're really going to be talking about your business and setting up a plan that works for your business. Okay, so again, we're going to be doing this Jumpstart series every Monday at 10. I hope you'll all join me each week. The topics will range. We'll cover all different things. The goal is to give you some business building essentials for the week ahead. Also, on Monday mornings, some of you might also be in Anna's Monday Morning Mojo. That is at 7:30 in her Facebook group. That's a good place to go for a motivational, more of like life coaching, motivational, inspiration, kind of jumpstart your morning in that way. And then at 10 a.m., I'm hoping to bring you some strong business building strategies for your week. So this week, what we're talking about is time management. I wanted to kick off this series with time management, because I truly think that as I'm coaching and consulting real estate agents, and on any given week, I coach and consult, I don't know, between 20 and 30 probably coaching or consulting conversations with realtors. And I think that the most common theme that I see people struggle with is their ability to effectively manage their time. And I also know from running my own successful real estate business that it can be one of those things that is just very difficult to get a handle on. So I know that it's applicable for agents at all different levels of experience, and I'm looking forward to going over this with everybody today. And since we've had a few people join us since I said it at the top of the hour, this is going to be a very interactive class. So I hope that you all have your notebooks and your papers in front of you to get the most out of it. You'll definitely want to follow along with the structure that we're going to go over. So before we go into the actual lesson, this is what I would ask everybody to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to I have a timer up, and I am going to put 2 minutes on the timer. Okay. So you should have a piece of paper and a pen in front of you. And your goal is, when the timer starts, to put the pen to the piece of paper and list out every single thing that's rattling around in your head that you need to do this week. Okay, every single thing. It could be anything. It could be business, it could be personal, it could be a mixture of both. It could be anything from writing a purchase offer to developing a social media strategy to whatever it is that you're working on. Okay, the goal is to not pick up your pen. So just keep writing until the timer goes off. So I'm going to share my screen. And this, okay, there's one person entering, so I'm just gonna give, when he connects to the audio, I'm gonna give the instructions again. Hey, Isaiah, good morning. Hi, Karen. Okay, we're going to start an exercise. So I'm gonna say it one more time. So what I'm going to do, I have 2 minutes on the timer. Everybody should have a piece of paper in front of them. And you're going to, without lifting your pen from the paper, for the next 2 minutes, write down every single thing that you have rattling around in your head that you need to get done. It could be this week, it could be this month, it could be this year, just any of those things that you are tasks that you are working on. Write it all down on the piece of paper. Okay, so we're going to get started now. 30 seconds. Keep writing anything that's in your head. Do you have to pick up the laundry? Do you have to go grocery shopping? Do you need to write a purchase offer? Are you putting your database in order? Running a Facebook ad? Setting 2 listing appointments? Your appointment goals should be on this list. How many appointments do you need to set this week? Okay. Okay. So how do we feel? Do you feel like that 2 minutes was enough time? Not enough time? Did you get not John's shaking his head and saying not enough time? Okay.
Not enough time.
Not enough time.
Not enough.
Not enough time. Okay. Okay. So okay, so not enough time. So this might be an exercise that when we wrap up today that you return to again, right? And get everything down on paper that is rattling around in your head. So what we call this exercise is it's called a mind dump, right? So have you ever woken up in the morning and you just feel like there's so much to do that I don't even know where to start? And then you might not start anything because you feel torn in all different directions, right? And you're not sure, do I start with this or that, or these big projects, or do a bunch of small projects first and then tackle a big project, right? I found what's helpful is to do this experiment, and you might need to go back again and really sit and get everything down on paper, every single thing, just get it out, right? And then now the next key to doing this, right, is then prioritizing. Because the truth of the matter isn't that we don't get all of this stuff done, right? The actual key to time management is not like, only doing the things that are most important. You certainly want to focus on the things that are most important. But what you really need to do is prioritize your day, right? So when you look at the list that you wrote down, now I want you to take another 30 seconds or so and write down for each one of the tasks, in what time frame do you need to accomplish them? So is it this week? Is it this month? Is it in the first quarter? Is it this year? In what time frame do you need to accomplish each one of the things that you set out to do? And if it's something that is a big project, say you are looking to farm a new area, you're looking to break into a new area for your real estate business. And so that's on your to-do list. If that is a bigger project that is going to involve multiple steps, I want you to put a star next to that item. So Steve, I know that you and Kayla just joined us a little late. So what we did was we did a mind dump exercise where they sat for 2 minutes and they wrote down every single thing that was rattling around in their heads as their to-do list today, right? Heading into a new week. And now with that to-do list, they're putting a time frame onto it. So in what time frame do they need to get these things accomplished in a day today? Does it need to be done today? Does it need to be done this morning? Does it need to be done this week, this month, this year? Are they just someday plans? Putting a timeline with things. You're welcome. Okay, so now that you have a timeline set up on one side, probably along your list of items. Now here's the next thing that we're going to do with that list. So for those of you that have been with KW for a long time, this isn't going to be a new theory to you, but I'm going to cover it again because I think it's one of the most important theories when you're talking about time management and running your schedule effectively. And that is what we call the 80-20 principle. Okay. So the 80-20 principle derived from an Italian scientist, I think back in the 1800s, and he was studying cornfields. And what he noticed from the cornfield was that 20% of the crops, 20% of the corn stalks produced 80% of the products that actually made it to market. Okay, so 20% of the corn crops were really good and good enough to make it to market, and the 80% of the corn crops were just a small amount of the money that the corn crops that were able to go to market. He then took this theory and he started to see it be applied in other areas as well. The next thing that he noticed was that 80% of the wealth held by in Italy was held by only 20% of the people, meaning 20% of the people were generating 80% of the total wealth in the country. And so this theory, it's called Pareto's principle. His name was Pareto. I don't know his first name, but it's something Pareto, maybe Peter. I don't know. Something Pareto, and he came up with this 80-20 principle. And what the 80-20 principle says is that 20% of your activities are going to get to 80% of your results. Okay, so 20% of what you do on any given day is what's going to yield 80% of the results that you are looking to get. So when you're hearing, when you're here at Keller Williams and we're talking to you about what are your 20% activities, this is what we're talking about. They're your dollar productive activities that are actually going to help you make money, right? They're actually going to move your business forward. They're going to help you make money. Now, that's not the majority of the activities that you do on a daily basis as a real estate agent, right? Like we know as a realtor, you are doing all sorts of things. You're showing houses, you're writing offers, you're attending home inspections and appraisals, you're negotiating deals, you're lead generating for more business, right? You're doing final walkthroughs and talking to attorneys and mortgage brokers. Like there's a lot that comes into it. But only really a few of those activities are activities that are actually going to make you any more money, right? And so when we start with this long list of things to do, the next thing that we want to look at on this list is which one of those things are actually going to make you more money than what you're already anticipating you're going to make. Meaning they're not activities tied to a deal that's pending already, right? They are actual activities that are going to, if you complete that task, are going to make you more money. So what I want you to do now is to go back to that list, that mind dump list, and circle the activities that are actually going to add more money into your bank account. So take a couple minutes, take a couple, maybe 30 seconds to do that. Okay, so how many, so of the total list that you wrote down, how many did you circle? You're on
5.
4.
Margaret, you said 4?
Yeah.
How many do you have total on the list?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16. Okay, so 1/4, right? Or
Yeah.
1/6. Right. Okay. Don, how many did you circle?
5 out of 9.
5 out of 9. Okay, good. John's one of our newer agents, so that's perfect. Probably when you're a newly licensed agent, you want like 90% of your activities to be dollar producing, right? Because you're trying to build up the pipeline and all that good stuff. Okay, who else? Dee, I saw you come off mute. How many did you circle?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Okay, very good. And Hazel?
Yeah, 4 out of, gosh, I think 12. I have 12 down. Yes.
Okay, good. So about a third. Okay, great. So can you see where I'm going with this? Right?
Yes.
So you have a big long list of things to do, right? And only somewhere between a quarter and a half of them are actually going to make you money. The other quarter and a half, it doesn't mean that they don't get done. It doesn't mean that you don't do them or you ignore them or you just never do them, right? It just means that they shouldn't be a priority as you're setting up your week. Okay. The priority should be on the items that you circled. And that should be now what you do first. So now you know those 4 things, right, are the things that you do first in the morning. And once you get them checked off, then go do the rest of the stuff. It's not that the rest of the stuff doesn't get done. It's that if you are able to prioritize, it can significantly help you make a couple of decisions. One, you can make a decision that, okay, I did my big rocks and I don't want to work for the rest of the day. It's last Friday was 60 degrees out, right? Like, is anybody here, because I know I felt it as a real estate agent, you feel like I have to be working all the time. If I'm not working, right, Patty's raising your hands. If I'm not working, it's, I'm leaving money on the table or whatever that is, right? Yeah. I truly think that not only will this help you run your schedule more effectively, if you're able to properly prioritize, you will also feel a level of relief when you know that you've gotten done what needs to get done for the day, because there are going to be some days where you are exhausted. This is a tough business. And this is a tough market, right? Like, we have been in a tough market for a year. You guys have been battling multiple offers, buyers losing deals, all sorts of stuff going on, right? And so I truly think that the key to the time management, where you're not necessarily working harder, you're just working smarter, is by doing this on a weekly or even a daily basis. Right? Setting down what everything is on your to-do list and then prioritizing what actually is going to make you money and move your business forward, right? And that, yes, John, yay, exactly. And your planner, I have mine right. If I could show you my desk, it's crazy. I have a math planner. I have a whole notebook. I have this little thing, which I'll tell you guys the way I have my little to-do list set up, that I found enormously helpful. There's a lot of tricks to this, but the first thing comes by recognizing what are the most important parts of your business that need to get done. So now that you know the most important parts of your business, this is where some of the business planning tools that we have at Keller Williams can come in place, right? So anything that you wrote down that is a big project, right, that you put a star next to, that's a bigger project that needs to be broken down into steps. We have a tool to help you do that. It's called a 135 or a GPS, okay? It's a business planning tool. It will help you with one of these bigger ideas that you really want to chunk down and make into actionable steps. So for anything on that list that is a bigger project, I would recommend doing a 135 for that. And I'm going to share my screen again. And let's get out of this screen somehow. So this is what the 135 looks like. And it's not complicated. And once you get in the habit of doing a 135, you'll come to find that this can be a default for the way that you plan things out. So I'll give you an example. Patty knows that this is how we run our strategic plans in the Market Center. So on a Market Center basis, we have quarterly strategic plans that we follow, and we use this exact paper and we create our strategies. And then on a weekly basis, we look at the strategies and we go, okay, what are we executing on right now? What are we going to execute next month? So on and so forth. So the way that this starts is you want to start with your one main business objective at the top. So that one main business objective can be whatever that big project is that you wrote down. So if you put a star next to something, that's your big project. Say it's farming a new area or getting market share in a new area, for instance. Now, with your one main business objective, you want to make sure that when you're setting a goal, right, this is part of goal setting, which can go into time management, that you're making it a SMART goal. So it follows the SMART acronym, which is that it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, right? So just saying you want to break into a new farming area really wouldn't suffice for that, right? It doesn't follow the 5 prongs. So what you might say is that you want to gain 10% market share in New Paltz by the end of this year. That's a very specific goal, right? You will know for 100% with 100% certainty if you've hit that goal and you've set a timeline in order to do it. Okay. So now with the big, so you would put that, whatever you need to write in for your one main business objective will go here. Now there's then there's 3 priorities to achieve the objective. So what you want to do there is set up, what are your 3 big picture items? So if we're looking at farming an area, right? What might be one of the big picture items we would have to do to break into a new area to gain market share? The real question.
Advertise.
Advertise. Okay. So advertise in the area. What else?
Community events.
Community events.
Consider doing like buyer seminar or things like that at a local coffee shop, or maybe putting postcards with that or whatever.
Community
Instagram.
outreach.
Yeah.
So social media. Oops. Media, right? You might do community outreach and marketing plan. Okay, so these are your 3 big items, right? And yours is going to be different based on whatever your big project is. Then you might chunk down underneath here your 5 strategies for reaching each goal. So for your marketing plan might be postcards, right? Just sold, and market stat postcards. Cards monthly. It might also be under social media, targeted Facebook ads for just listed and sellers in New Paltz, right? Community outreach might be like Christine was saying, weekly Starbucks trips and for networking. And then you go down the list again, right? However many, it doesn't need to be 5. It might be 4, it might be 3, right? However many you need to fill this out, things that you're going to commit to doing during that time. Okay, so now for these bigger projects, you have a written strategy behind it, right? So now it's not just, oh, I want to break into the New Paltz market. It's an actual written strategy that then you can chunk down over time and execute on. Because on any given day or week, are you going to do all of this? No, of course not. No one's going to do all of it. But over time, you can accomplish, right? If the goal is to get here by the end of the year, then in incremental steps, you can chunk these strategies down, right? And work on them week by week so that you're incrementally moving forward towards your goals. Are there any questions about anything that we've gone over so far? Thoughts, comments, feedback?
I personally want to say, I haven't utilized the 1-3-5 method and seeing it written down and working. I'm definitely going to start using this in a business plan. It's great.
Yeah, thank you for doing this, Rita, because I have, even though I've been doing this for a while, it's just a recheck because I've got a long list and it's a matter of prioritizing the list and, like you said, chunking it down. One thing I want to add that I have found that has helped me over the last 6 months is I did begin private coaching outside of the KW venue. But what has helped me is to really focus on the numbers, focus on how many appointments per week, how I'm going to get there. And it's the same concept of a 1-3-5 of paying attention to the numbers. And when you pay attention to it, you realize you might be doing enough. So the first thing you said to us as realtors, we keep doing task after task and we feel like it can become very overwhelming. But when you track your numbers, you really start to see the bigger picture as to whether or not what you're doing is effective enough, where you need to adjust, and maybe you are doing better than you think you are.
Yeah.
So that was it for me this morning. That was a huge light for me this morning. I kept thinking all along, because I'm not seeing income for January, February, actually December, January, and February, no income. So now you start to sweat.
Yep.
And you say, holy crow, when am I going to see some cash? But I've been doing the tasks time after time, one after the other, consistently.
Yeah.
Now it's gearing up for the, for execution, and it's going to happen.
That's great.
It's believing in yourself that doing those things over and over again will ultimately net the result you need.
Right. It's not just time on task, right? It's time on task over time. And that's really true for the real estate profession. And I think maybe, well, I don't know other industries. I know real estate. I know in real estate, because I've coached and trained so many newly licensed agents, that I see them give up right before like the going gets good. Like they're like, I'm doing it. I've called everybody. I've talked to everybody. I've done it. I don't want to do it. I've been doing it for 2 weeks now. And you're like, no, nope. You have to keep doing it. At some point, there's a tipping point, right? Where all of that work starts paying off, and now you're receiving leads. Now you're not just lead generating, you're receiving leads. But see, what can happen very quickly is happened to me when I was a new agent. And times when I wasn't a new agent, right? You can put together a bunch of deals, you start lead generating, you hang up and you're like, I'm going to be really effective with my time. And the next month you're super effective with your time and you get a bunch of clients, right? Scheduled. And then you put a bunch of deals together. And then what happens? You start attending inspections and appraisals and closings and commission invoices, and you're trying to learn commissions and commands and DocuSign and Dotloop and all the things come up. And then what happens? You take your foot off of the lead generation pedal because you're so busy. You're so busy with all the pending deals. And then the deals close, and now it's like starting back to build back up again, right? To build the pipeline back up. So that's another reason why doing this activity consistently, where you do a mind dump, then you circle what is your actual dollar productive activities, right? You take any big projects that you have listed there and chunk it down using the 1-3-5, right? And then you prioritize your day. So now what you can do with that 1-3-5 is you can do another KW term, which is your 4-1-1. So the 4-1-1 really is based off of the GPS. You might have a GPS for your whole real estate business. With some agents I was coaching, I would say make your one big goal your income goal, and then make the 3 priorities: cold buyer leads, cold seller leads, warm leads, and referrals, right? That's usually the 3 buckets you're pulling leads from. And then the 5 underneath that can be all your different lead generation strategies. And that might be your lead gen plan, like your strategic plan for your real estate business. So now you can pull from that each week. Okay, so now what is the 4-1-1? So the 4-1-1 is another way to just chunk it down even more. To take that list, right, and anything that you wrote down on there that's monthly, that needs to get done this month or this week or today, right, goes on to this week's 4-1-1. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll show you what that document looks like. There's an interactive 4-1-1 right in KW Connect that you can use. And it's the same idea. So you have your annual goals, whatever your annual goals are, right? You can either choose an income goal, a GCI goal, a net income goal. It might be a unit goal. It could be a volume goal, right? You put that down here. Whatever your monthly goals are, right? It should be just like Margaret was saying, understanding how many appointments you need to go on per month and putting that appointment goal in here. So if it's 3 buyer appointments, 2 listing appointments, whatever it is, putting in here, as well as any bigger projects you're looking to execute. So anything you wrote down on your list that needs to be done this month should be a monthly goal, right? Now, keep in mind when you're writing a goal, it needs to follow the same acronym again, the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, right? Because you have to know when you hit it, attainable, relevant to driving towards your annual goal, and timely. It has to be time bound. So that's why they're monthly goals. And then what you do each week, so you have one 411 each month. So the beginning of each month, you should have a 411 where you pick your annual goals and your monthly goal. Now, each week you can set and figure out what are your weekly goals. So we're entering into week 3 already. There's actually 5 weeks in March. So we're in week 3 now of March. So on this form is where you would write down anything that you wrote down on that list that needs to be accomplished either today or this week, or parts of your bigger plans for the month that need to get accomplished this week as well. So if your big plan, right, if we're using our example in our 135 is to break into New Paltz, right? And one of the things is that we're doing a weekly Starbucks trip for networking, targeted Facebook ads, and just sold marketing. So if I'm looking at my 411, I can go, okay, well, I definitely know in week 3, I need to say on Tuesday, I'm sitting at Starbucks for an hour and I'm going to buy everybody that comes in to Starbucks their drink, right? You can do that. I've seen real estate agents do that. And then they sit and they network and they hand out their business cards, so on and so forth. So pick a day and that could be on there. It could also be, okay, I know that I just listed a house. In New Paltz, so I need to run the just listed ad this week. I need to get that set up. It could also be whatever else, you're doing for that big monthly goal, plus any of your weekly goals, right? Now, what I would recommend on this sheet is only putting your dollar productive activities onto this sheet. So only the things that you circled should go onto your 411, right? Those are your big rocks. That's really what you want to be focused on that week in order to be productive. Any questions on how to utilize a 411? We use them as a leadership team in the office. Our leadership team submits their 411s to me weekly. I submit mine to Anna as our general manager every week, and we go over it to make sure that we're all in line with what our priorities are for the week. So now once you have this down, right, now you just look at this week's tasks, the goals you set up for this week, and that is what you work on every day. Okay, so now when we talk about what an ideal schedule should look like for a real estate agent, right, we can pull that right out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And so what we generally recommend is that you do your dollar productive activities first in the morning, because that's usually when your mind is going. It's usually when you're most productive. Nothing's gone wrong usually yet in the day, right? I know that there's many experienced agents on this call where you can get in if you start your morning with inspection issues and it's all going sideways. How motivated are you after that to go lead generate? You're like, I don't want another client. Like, I don't want him. I hate this, right? So don't do that. Don't get sucked into the whirlwind of the real estate transaction stuff. I promise you, there are no real estate emergencies.
I'm so glad you brought it up, Rita, because that's one of the things that I struggled with and still struggle with as an experienced agent, getting sucked into the grind of the business and not paying attention to the gas pedal. You have got to stay ahead and do your lead gen. If you don't do it,
I agree.
You're out.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
That is the lead gen is 100% what the very first thing you need to be doing every single day, nothing else first.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. I think that it's very easy to get off track if you start on other things, right?
Or it's very easy for other people to own your schedule because it works for them. You need to really stick to your schedule as best you possibly can so that you get that lead gen in wherever it needs to fall into your day.
Right. And I see Christine raising her hand. Do you have something to add?
Oh, yes. I know that I've heard on a lot of calls that you should pretty much just put your phone on do not disturb. And I don't know, from your vantage point, do you see folks doing that? Because I know we're not all together, but do you know firsthand if folks are doing that? Because there's too many shiny objects and we should probably just not pick up until after 11 or whatever it is, because I know I've had to either put my phone in a different room or turn it off or whatever. So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I don't do it enough, and I should.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of times you see something come in and you're like, oh, I could respond to that in 2 seconds. But then if you have 10 2 seconds or 10 1 minutes, now you've eaten up a sixth of your lead generation time. So
Right.
I think that at least I can speak for myself. I have gotten much better over the years about literally turning my phone over, keeping it someplace else, and really not looking at it, and only looking at it in certain blocks of time. And guess what? When I was selling real estate, up until late last year, I was still selling real estate. I have all 5-star reviews on Zillow. I never got a complaint from a person that they didn't hear from me. You can go read my reviews on Zillow. Most of them say I'm very responsive. I get back to people in a timely manner. I truly think that it's something that we make up in our own heads, that people are expecting us to get back to them in 3 seconds, right? They're not. When you reach out to an attorney on one of your deals, okay, of course you expect him to be responsive, but do you expect an immediate answer, like in 3 seconds? Like you're going to shoot the answer and he's going to respond? No, like, don't you figure, okay, sometime today I'm going to hear back from them. Same rules apply, right? We teach people how to treat us. If you start answering your phone at 11 o'clock at night to your clients, if you start answering emails at 6 in the morning, if you start doing all of those things, right? Talking to attorneys first thing, talking to mortgage broker, guess what's going to happen? They're going to call you first thing. They're going to text you. They're going to expect an immediate response. Then when they don't get it, that's actually when there's a bigger issue, because you've already taught them that you do respond that way. If just from the beginning, you don't respond to things until 11 o'clock, right? We're not talking about 3 days later, like 11 o'clock in the morning. Nothing has gone so wrong. There is no deal that falls apart in 2 hours. There is no real estate emergencies. If your listing is on fire, they shouldn't be calling you anyway. They should be calling the fire department, right? Like there really is no real estate emergencies. And so I think that that it's so powerful when you're able to it gives you some more freedom too, right? Like, just like if you were showing a house, right? So you're in a house, your client's asking you 100 questions, you're standing in the kitchen, you're like, okay, blah, 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 and you have another client call you. Are you going to be like, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question right now. I need to go out and talk to this person. So why do you treat your lead generation time any different than that? Your lead generation time is when you're actually making yourself more money, right? Like, why do you treat that time any more sacred than you would if you're standing in front of a client or you're on a listing presentation, right? It's the most important part. So the schedule of a real estate agent, we start off with our dollar productive activity. So anything that you circled, right? If it's a bigger project, then you just look at what towards on that 135 for that bigger project can you do today, right? What are you getting done today? And write that down. I have this system. I have this little notepad, and I'll tell you exactly, this is what I have to do today. These are things, my big rocks for tomorrow. These are long-term projects. And this is like 80% stuff. This is when I was selling real estate, scheduling the home inspection, sending out the commission invoice, getting the final walkthrough scheduled, buying the closing gift, right? Like all the little gets to this. It's not a priority, right? And it just goes down here. And that's what I do every morning. I still do it. That's why I have it. This is mine for today, right? I've gotten in the habit now where I sit down at my desk and the first thing I do is I rip off a new sheet and I make the plan. And then I cross off as I'm going during the day. And I focus first on the dollar productive activity. So that really should be at least a 2 to 3 hour block of time that you're lead generating. Now, when you say lead generating, that can be very vague, right? You might need to do a 1-3-5 around lead generation. What does that look like? What are the lead generation strategies that you want to execute on, right? You might need a separate, you could have a million 1-3-5s for all different things that you're working on, just to help you kind of create a system around it. So that should be the focus there. Okay, then if you do, say you do 9 to 12 lead generation activities, right? It could be as simple as following the daily 10-4, right? That's a pretty easy system. Calling 10 new people and adding them to your database. Following up with 10 people that are already in your database. Previewing 10 houses per week. So the first 2 are per day, the second one's per week. And the fourth one is writing 10 handwritten note cards. Very simple. You just talk to 20 people, pick half of them and write them a note card, right? Thank you for talking to me and thinking about if you know of anybody thinking to buy or sell real estate. Here's 2, I would always include 2 business cards. Here's 2 business cards. Keep one for yourself. If somebody else has a real estate need, feel free to send it to them. Talk to you soon. Whatever it is, right? That might be your lead generation. It could be your social media strategy, whatever it is, that's your deal. Okay, then after that, you want to take a lunch. It's okay as a real estate agent to take a lunch break, right? It could be a lunch break where that's your time you listen to a business building podcast. You watch a recording of one of the classes that we're doing in the market center. You read a book, or you stare at the wall, or whatever. You watch Jerry Springer for an hour to unwind because you just lead generated for 3 hours and it can be stressful. Like whatever you have to do, right? Take a little break. It might be a half hour, it could be an hour, whatever it is. Then after you take your lunch break, go do whatever you want to do. Go do whatever you want to do. You want to take the rest of the day off? Be done for the day. You already did your dollar productive stuff. If you have appointments, right? If you have to show houses, you have listing appointments, that's your appointment time, the afternoon, right? Most instances, people can schedule appointments in the afternoon around your schedule, right? Unless somebody like has some crazy work schedule that you have to adhere by, one of your clients, you can typically give people time options. The easiest way to close somebody for an appointment is to do the alternate close. Okay, I'm so excited to meet you to hear about your house. I'm available Tuesday at 3 or Wednesday at 4. Which one of those times works best for you? Right? Not, okay, great, I can't wait to come over, when works for you. Now you're on their time frame. No, if you know your schedule, give them a few times. If they say, oh, neither of those times works, okay, great. You should have some other times, whatever, whenever else is available. And here's another time tip that I use all the time. I say, I'm sorry, I have an appointment during that time. So if they say, oh, I can meet you at Tuesday at 9 a.m. Oh, I'm so sorry, I have an appointment at that time, because guess what? You do have an appointment at that time. You have an appointment with yourself to grow your business. It's okay to say that. You don't have to say I'm lead generating for more clients, so I can't handle you, Mr. Client, right? But you can say, I have an appointment at that time. How does 12 p.m. work? How does 1 o'clock work, right? The afternoons can also be spent doing your 80% stuff, right? Doing your forms, your compliance, picking up the dry cleaning, taking the dog to the dog park, doing your grocery shopping for the week, right? All the 80% stuff. So see what I mean? Like, it's not that it doesn't get done. It's not that we're sitting here saying, just don't worry about it. You don't have to do all of that stuff. Of course, you got to do it, right? It's got to get done. The key though is to prioritize. Start with the stuff that's going to make you money, right? Then go into the leave time for your appointment blocks of time. And then the rest of the stuff will fit into the time allotted. I promise you, the rest of the stuff will fit into the time allotted. And also, the more time that you spend lead generating, the quicker you'll be able to put leverage into your business, right? Or into your personal life. More lead generation might mean that you can now order grocery deliveries. It could be that you get takeout once a week instead of cooking all the time, right? It could be now you're lead generating enough, you have a housekeeper, you don't have to clean, or a house cleaner that comes once a week or whatever, twice every other week. Where you have a dog walker, now you can afford a dog walker to take some of those 80% activities, right? Get leverage. Now your business is so busy, you have a showing assistant, you have your own administrative assistant, right? That's how things start to snowball, is by purposely growing things, right? And then looking at, okay, where can I add some leverage into my business in these other areas? So so that's really what we're looking at, right? And so that might look like doing whatever, whatever it is in the afternoon to make sure that your schedule is together. Any question? Oh, also, I have an appointment works for when you want to take time off too. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's okay if you want to take a Sunday morning off to say, I have an appointment. Can we do 1 o'clock? Right? You got to do it. I've done it many times where I've been like, I can't. But I don't want to say, I'm not going to say to the people, I just don't have the energy, honestly, to show you houses at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So I'm going to ask for the afternoon instead. I just say I have an appointment. I have an appointment with myself to sleep in and, and relax a little bit. That's one of the beauties actually about selling real estate is we have a flexible schedule and we have the ability to give ourselves the schedule and the lifestyle we want. The key is not to do that at the expense of the things that are growing our businesses, right? Like you have to be smart about the way that you strategize that. You don't want to do that at the expense of lead generating, growing your business, making money, that kind of stuff. Okay, any questions about anything that we've gone over?
I just want to tell you, this is the best Zoom to start off the week. Like, I'm really excited to keep doing this.
Yay!
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I love time management. I used to be terrible at time management. It's still a work in progress. I think it's always a work in progress. I used to be really bad at it though. I've told Patty this story. I walked into Anna, who's our general manager, into her office like maybe 6 or 8 months into being the productivity coach, just in tears. Like, I'm doing too much, trying to run my real estate business, coaching all these agents, and it's just too much. And she was like, you don't have your problem is you're not running your schedule effectively. Like you're not doing too much. There's plenty of people in the world doing more than you, right? And they do it sanely. The problem is that you're not doing it effectively. And honestly, some of these strategies I'm talking about, pretty much all of them are the way that I run my business. And it's helped me move things forward. But more than that, it has truly given me peace of mind and has put me in a better mindset about work. It's given me better boundaries almost for work, where I've actually ended up getting more done because I'm doing it a little more purposeful. So I'm so happy to hear that. I hope you'll all join me every Monday at 10. So every Monday, we're going to just change the topic around, and I'll put out the topic a little bit in advance so that you guys have it. And it'll be some type of business, building topic to help you guys grow your business. Any other comments, ahas, questions that I can answer?
Yes, I do. If I
Okay.
step in for a second. So
Of course.
you showed a few minutes ago your little methods of what you use to keep track. So
Yep.
you have various notebooks for various reasons.
Yes.
Right? Or various calendars. So I'd like to talk a little bit more, whether it's today or another time, about what those look like.
Sure.
So do you have a notebook, a calendar for training? Do you have a calendar?
Show it off, Rita. Show it off.
Oh, this is my favorite topic. I've kept people hostage in my office as I'm like,
maybe it
look
should
at
be
this.
a separate call, but I want to know what that looks like, because that's a big struggle for me.
I can do a quick overview of my whole little setup on my desk. So, okay, so this is my newest thing I just got. Actually, no, let me start backwards. I bought an ARC planner, A-R-C. It's an ARC planner. You can get it from Staples. It's a system. You can customize it however you want to customize it. Yep, Patty has hers because she's gotten caught up into my, pitch about ARC. I should buy stock in ARC because I promote their stuff. So anyway, you can get them from Staples. This is mine. The front cover, right when I open it, I have my word of the year at the top, purposeful. See, time management. And then I got this little sticker. I got that from a team leader in Ohio, actually. So, okay, front cover. Normally I have this pad that I'll go over right on the front. Oops, this mirrored, so it's kind of tough. Right on the front, so that when I open my binder, I have all my stuff for the day there, okay? Then behind it, it's so annoying when they mirror. I have this little thing, and then I have in here, I have a calendar. So the first thing up is my calendar. Now this is, let me find one from when I was still selling real estate. In this calendar insert, do I even have any? how old. It's from last year. I want to show you anyway, this is what the page normally looks like. This is a calendar insert. This is for the month. So see where it says, oops, January 2021 planning. I would write on here, I wish I could find an example. I can send it out in an email. I would write buyer consultations was the first line. Seller consultations was the second line. Names I was recruiting for productivity coaching. So people I need to recruit for productivity coaching. And whatever my goal was, I would draw little boxes. So if I had to go on 5 buyer consultations, I would draw 5 boxes. If I had to go on 5 listing appointments, I would draw 5 listing appointments. If you don't know these numbers, it's your economic business model. Okay, I can help you, let me know. But if you don't know those numbers, that's where you pull those numbers from. And then I would have every week I wanted to post, like I would post stuff for productivity coaching. So I had like that listed out, like the social media posts scheduled for the week. I would do that on Sundays. So I'd have my calendar in there. And then every week I would go through, and as I was doing it, I would check it off. So at any time during the month, I would kind of know where I was at against my goals. Okay, so that's the calendar part. Then there's like a little pocket where you just keep whatever in. And then behind that, I have paper, but it's all, I have it in 4 different sections. So this is, I recruit, right, as a team leader. So my top tab is for recruiting. This is other team leader stuff. So this is where I write my notes for the leadership team, the ALC that I run, like all the other, leadership stuff goes here. This was where I would keep any transaction management stuff. So now notice when I was selling real estate, this was lead generation. Okay. This was like lead follow-up. So this was like lead generation strategies I wanted to execute on. Lead follow-up, those like notes of leads. This was transaction management. I kept it totally separate. So I got to schedule the inspection. They're telling me like the roof was 10 years old, like whatever. I'm taking notes on properties. I would keep it all in there. And then the final one is notes from classes I would take. So if I was sitting in this class, it would go on behind here and I'd have all my notes kind of compiled. Now, the good thing about the ARC planner is that the pages are removable and they can pop in and out. So you can reload them. Like you don't have, it's not like a notebook where once the notebook is full, you have to put it out and start a fresh one. I would keep like the most important stuff in there and then add new pages in as I went. So that's one thing. Is this boring? Is this boring? Am I boring, you guys? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. Definitely
Okay.
not.
All right.
We
So
love
then
it.
then the next thing, this is part of the ARC planner. You see it has these little like weird inserts. So this is the thing that I was talking to you about. So you could do this on any piece of paper. You put it into 4 columns. This is the way I do it. This is my priorities for the day. I'm failing at this. This is too many priorities. You should not have more than like 3 to 5 priorities. Okay, that's the truth. You're probably not going to get more than that accomplished. I probably have too many priorities. This is today's priorities. This is tomorrow's priorities. Both of these things are on my 411 for the week. Okay, sometimes this will be like kind of like the week priorities, but usually I try to do this day. Down here are longer term projects I'm working on. Okay. So like what I'm working on is I'm doing like a video series with agents in the market center. So that's a longer term project. I had to do a 1-3-5 around it and kind of chunk it down into little sections, right? I'm also working on like a contest for the market center. That's like a few more steps than just sitting and doing it. So it's one of my longer term projects. I'm trying to decorate the office. I've been trying to do that for months and months, but it's an 80% activity. So it keeps putting off. So that's one of my longer term projects. And then the 4th column is all 80% stuff. All the nonsense, right? Actually, probably I should move the decorating the office to the 80% stuff. It's not making us any more money. We're actually just spending money doing it, right? And we're all virtual anyway, so no one knows if nothing's on the walls here. So that's where all your 80% stuff goes. Scheduling home inspections, picking up the dry cleaning, right? Like I have and this is both personal and, professional stuff. You can intertwine or you could do one or the other. This is always in front of me. Then tomorrow, right, I cross off as many things as I do during the day. Now tomorrow I have my 411 and then I just start a fresh one. So I take whatever I didn't cross off and I transfer it over to the new thing. And then I start fresh that day. Now, the 3rd thing I just got is, which I haven't quite figured out the exact way I'm going to use it, but this is the bold planner. Maps Coaching puts it out. I think it's like $60, so it's a little more expensive, a little more on the expensive side. But this planner is really awesome. I just got it for free for being a MAPS client and signing up for family reunion. They sent us like this whole thing of swag. So this thing now is a calendar. In each month, because it's KW related, they have the beginning of the month has a 411 in it, has a blank 411. Behind it is like a calendar section, so on and so forth. So this is what the so see, I have my 411 in here. Whoop, my 411. And then they have a weekly thing that I probably shouldn't show because it has a bunch of recruiting stuff in it. So the weekly thing, basically what I do there, Patty can tell you. So we do a daily huddle every morning where we go over a different topic. Based on the day, it changes. It's with our market center leadership team. So every morning on the huddle, I write down the information that I'm getting each day of the week. And the information I'm getting drives at our Q1 strategic plan, which is just the market centers 135 for the first quarter of 2021. So I write down on each day. This morning, for instance, Patty, right? We went over our big rocks and our priorities for the week. And they all sent me their 411s, and we all shared, and I shared what mine were. And I wrote them all of theirs down so that on we go over them on Thursday. I can go, okay, Patty, you said you're working on X, Y, and Z. How'd you do? Are we moving it to next week? Are we keeping it for this week? What are we doing? Thursday, we go over numbers. So I write in all the numbers. We track company dollar, we track recruiting, we track listings and sold and all sorts of fun things for the market center. I write them all in there. So, and then in the column, I work on recruiting. So I have people that I'm projecting, people I'm working on, so on and so forth. For real estate, that might look like listings coming in this month, 10 buyers in my pipeline, people that I'm nurturing, right? And I have it all right in front of me so that I have kind of like a reference right there. You don't need all of these things, by the way. Like, this is a little complicated. It's probably more complicated than I even need. You truly need like a piece of paper that you can divide in and kind of strategize that way, right? And some type of binder where you can hold notes. I would say segment the notes out if you can. Even like a 3-ring binder that you just put, tabs into can be helpful to start. Okay, this was helpful?
Excellent, thank you.
Super.
Good. Okay, awesome. So take everything we went over today and just start. Now listen, it takes 66 days to form a habit. That means you can't just do it this week and then be like, I've done it. I've mastered time management, right? Stick with it for the next 2 months, and it's going to be a little hairy, right? You have to get yourself into the motion. And once you do that, I promise it will be uncomfortable to not do it this way. When I don't do things this way, I am now uncomfortable that I'm not doing them that way. It used to be the reverse. You just got to keep with it long enough, right, to see the progress.
Hey,
Okay.
Rita,
Yes.
that ARC thing from Staples, that has that notepad with the 4 corner things in it.
Yep.
4 list.
Yep. Yeah. You might need to order it online because I think I bought out all the ones, in the Middletown Staples. I went and bought like 55 packs because they're not always in stock. So you might need to order them online.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yep. All right. Oh, they also sell them all the stuff on Amazon too. All right, everybody. I'll see you all back here next Monday at 10. We'll have a different fun topic to go over. I'm looking forward to hearing how your success goes this week. I'm running your week more purposeful, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Rita.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.